over the years, I think the movies' visual quality and like writing quality has sort of declined, and the idea of the phases has sort of become more vague. Like the first couple of phases, you're like, oh, the goal is obviously there's a villain and they want to do this and they want to gather all these artifacts or what have you. But by the most recent ones, they're going, see, Marvel Phase 5 has ended, and we're like, what was that? What happened?
Mish and Zach.
I have a question about Marvel.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. I haven't seen any of them.
Okay.
Any?
Well, no.
I think we've had this conversation.
Hold on.
I think we have this conversation every time you're on.
No. I definitely haven't asked this question, right?
Zach, let her finish before we condemn her, all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I haven't gone all the way with Marvel.
Okay.
I've I've rounded
You've
seconds.
done a bit of over-the-clothes
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah, some digit
Hand stuff with Marvel. Here
I've
we
done
go.
hand stuff with Marvel. I couldn't tell you which... Like, I've seen Spider-Man. That's a Marvel film?
Which Spider-Man? It is, yes.
The first two.
But which first two? The ones from like the early 2000s.
Toby.
Yep,
What do you mean, which first two?
So there was the ones with Tobey Maguire, so they did 3 of those, and then they did 2 with Andrew Garfield.
Oh.
And then they've done 3 with Tom Holland.
No, I haven't seen any of them.
And the third one actually had Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in it also.
Okay, no, Toby.
Okay, yes.
Toby and Kirsten Dunst.
They're the best 2, I think.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen those 2. I was about to say, so... I can say comfortably that because you just mentioned all those TV shows, I don't know where to start. Similarly with Star Trek, right? I don't know where to start. The world is so big. What should I, as someone who isn't, like, because I'd like to watch a couple of them because I'd like to know what people are talking about when they come up. Which ones should I start with?
You should watch Iron Man, the first one, from 2008.
Okay.
See, the thing about them is, and you should watch. So the Marvel movies operate in phases. There's the phase 1, and then there's a sort of a big. They all get together, and there's a big action thing where they all have to team up to save the world.
What's
and
that one called?
The Avengers.
Okay.
And then they have to sort of then there's another phase starts. But over the years, I think the movies' visual quality and like writing quality has sort of declined, and the idea of the phases has sort of become more vague. Like the first couple of phases, you're like, oh, the goal is obviously there's a villain and they want to do this and they want to gather all these artifacts or what have you. But by the most recent ones, they're going, see, Marvel Phase 5 has ended, and we're like, what was that? What happened? But the first phase, so 2008, Iron Man 2, Thor, the first Captain America movie, I think they are the best written. I think they are, the visual effects are the best because they really had to work at it. Because this was an era where comic book superhero movies were still kind of embarrassing. And it was also an era where Marvel really had to make these work, because if they didn't... If these weren't successful, this was sort of yet another end for them. They were going to go bankrupt again.
They had to make it appeal to the masses.
So everything looks really good. Like a lot of visual effect shots. You could look at it and go, did they really build that Iron Man suit? Like, it looks so real. Every texture on it looks incredible. And I think like all the interpersonal dynamics are really good, and I think the plots mostly hold up and that sort of stuff.
Do you think there was also they had... When you look at the directors, was it Joe Dante? Who did
Captain America? It was he did The Rocketeer, he did Joe Johnston. He did a lot. So the first Captain America movie is set in the 40s for the most part, and it's directed by Joe Johnston, who's done a bunch of kind of period pieces from that era, and everything looks really sort of authentic. And
first Iron Man is Jon Favreau, who did Chef.
Okay, great.
Kenneth Branagh directed the first Thor movie.
What?
Yeah.
And
who's Thor?
Chris Hemsworth.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
But it
I always get Thor and Troy mixed up.
Oh yes.
It felt like in those early days, it felt like it was still the directors had a say.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was a sense of aesthetic difference between the films.
Absolutely. But then what happened, I think, is that those first few were, successful enough to keep the universe going, and then they went, well, if those ones were successful, that's the formula now. And then the formula kept sort of solidified and kept narrowing to the point where it was like, okay, well, the structure of the movie is this, and you have this character and he's got these flaws, and then something happens, and then they get into a dilemma, and then they gain their powers, and then blah blah blah, and then it's the same movie a bunch of times over and over again.